computer. We'll do it. All
I
right.
don't care.
We're going. We're doing it live. Go.
Oh, we're good?
Yeah. This will be great dead airtime.
All right. Welcome again to yet another episode of Romancing Our Stones, your male survival guide to media and pop culture your girl will likely drag you to. My name is Alex.
And my name is Matthew.
And today we've got a sneak peek, a meaty episode to go over, Matt.
Oh, you prematured on that one, Alex.
Yep. You know how I like to go premature. So
it's kind of a move.
It's my brand.
Yeah.
We got what? This is episode 2 of Matt James's season of The Bachelor.
Or let's be real, is it Victoria's season or is it Matt James's season?
Yeah,
we'll get into it, but let's talk about what we're drinking first.
She irritates me. Yes. I got a can of White Rascal from Avery Brewing Company. It
Nice.
is a Belgian style white ale, 5.6 ABV with curacao, orange peel, and coriander. And
if you haven't tried that before, people, the White Rascals are really good. But don't be freaked out, because if you get in the bottle, you see all the yeast in the bottom. Just be sure to roll it on its side before you drink it.
Yeah. I like Belgians, so I'm always a fan of Belgian beers.
Right. Belgian women? Oh, beers. Okay. All right.
A Belgian woman holding Belgian beers. Perfect,
okay.
I'll introduce her to you.
Thank you.
I'll be your wingman.
There you go. Well, I'm drinking our hazy IPA that we brewed of unknown alcoholic content and unknown bitterness units. You heard a toilet flush in the background. That was my son. It's good.
I thought you were very talented for a second.
Yeah, I'm multitasking over here. I got to tell you, though, I didn't like our beer at first, and I'm just being straight up honest. I really like it now, and I think it's a really good hazy.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm happy. And
do you roll that beer too? Because I know we got some sediment down in the bottom of that one too.
I just kind of treat it like a salad, and I just drink through it.
Okay.
Yeah, but
gotcha.
I just remember the last person I got a White Rascal bottle, and I saw the junk in the bottom. And I didn't know what it was. So. Yeah,
I've had a few of our beers. The first one, I wasn't super big fan of, but I had one last night actually, and I was, I can kind of see what you're saying. Kind of grows on you. It is a beer that you can easily finish, which I'm honestly, that's kind of what my only goal is as a very amateur brewer. Is can I finish this beer and still be happy at the end of it, or do I feel like I have to force my way through it?
Yeah,
we're not going there. So that's good. It crosses our very low my very low threshold.
We're getting bigger, badder, and stronger. I'll tell you that much.
Exactly.
So the episode starts out. Do you like the new thing where they show a clip from later in the show at the beginning? Do you like that?
It was novel in the first episode, and it caught me the first time. Like, oh, do I need to rewind this thing, right? Yeah. And then it happened again for me on the second episode. And I found myself saying, no, they're just doing that whole sneak peek clip again. Clip strategy.
Well, to be fair, it happened to everybody.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I don't know. I just, again, the first time was kind of kitschy, kind of novel. I was like, okay, that's kind of, all right, that's something different. I'm worried they're going to do this for every single episode this season at this point.
I don't get it. I don't know what show does that. It doesn't do it for me. What also it doesn't do it for me, there was a 24-second long shower scene in the beginning of the show from 1 minute and 4 seconds to 1 minute and 28 seconds. And that came immediately after a Peloton ad again.
Yep, him riding the bike.
And literally, I think that is Peloton alone is the reason why they have 100 times the budget this show, because even the girls hanging out area is 100 times nicer than La Quinta. The boys literally in a 30-year-old room with faded couches, floral print, and they sat there all day behind in a Goodwill wooden glass coffee table. And this one was literally ornate stacked stone columns and cascading I don't
Well,
even
and
know
like
what the heck was
the
in the
open
background.
air like veranda that opened up to like the rolling foothills. It was like insane too. Like that was like their door to the outside. And it
Yeah.
was like this like 25-yard by like 18-foot tall gaping window for them to like wait over fire pit for the date for Matt to come back. But I just want to know what Matt's Peloton screen name is because I just want to see if I can beat him.
Is that a thing? Like, do you have a screen name?
Oh yeah, I mean you have an account, so yeah. I mean, if anybody wants to follow me, mine is Mets23, like the New York
Oh,
Mets 2-3. I'm not a
with an
Mets fan.
S? With an
With an
S?
S, yeah, METS 23. Follow
Do
me
you
on
think you can
Peloton.
ride harder and longer than a podcaster? Test yourself with Mets 23.
Yeah,
What's 23 come
challenge
from?
accepted. That's my birth date.
February 3rd?
No, the 23rd.
Okay.
I was born on a 23rd. I don't want any. In case you got any super fans, they don't need to know everything about me yet.
What is your
Not
social
until we're
security
famous.
number? I know a guy in Africa, and he offered me a piece of his fortune. All
Are
I
you
need
talking
is
about the
my.
Nigerian prince?
You know him?
Yeah,
Wow.
he emailed me too.
Oh, wow. I feel less special now.
Well, we're just men of wealth, so
well, you know, Bree gets the one-on-one to start, and they go ATVing, and
yes.
all the girls walk out and watch. Like I feel like this season has been more producer-driven than any season I've seen so far. You know, from Victoria and her antics, and like you have the date where they go on the ATV and all the girls come out and be like, oh my gosh, he's putting on her helmet. I'm so jealous. Oh my gosh.
Well,
I want to
I
ride.
love Victoria. I don't know if you got her. She goes, "I'm not jealous. I just want that." I'm like, that's jealousy. Victoria drives me nuts, but like I was like I have to remember that quote when she's like, "I'm not saying I'm jealous or anything. I just want that." It's like, oh, again, going back to Bennett, like it's like talking to a 14-year-old.
I mean, she's supposed to be 28. It's like you talk about boiling a frog, you like the villains who kind of emerge, like after 3 episodes, but she did it right out the gate when she said the queen is here, bitches. And like there's such a distaste in her mouth and her actions are so ridiculous. It's like I'm just jumping out of the pot because it's already boiling. Like I'm not like so any second that she stays there, I feel like it's all producer driven because you saw his face when he was taking a picture with her.
Yes, I was like, I want to talk about that on this episode because he looks like he is not feeling it at all. But then later that night, validates her for being bold, right? But when you look at when she was standing next to him for the photo shoot, dude was not having fun.
No,
He smiled once and it was literally for the camera.
we'll get to that, but I mean, like she says, she's not here to make friends. Like, when does that ever work? Like in life,
Yeah.
it's like you're in a situation where you have to cohabitate with people or work with people. Like, just be chill.
And at her level too, I'm thinking like 28. Your friends start getting married, they start having kids, things start happening where you're still single, your friend group starts to get a little bit smaller. And maybe it's a time to actually say, hey, these girls are all having a similar experience as I am. Maybe there's a couple really cool girls out here that maybe we could take this beyond this competition and I can still be tight with. Who knows? Right?
Yeah, you
That's
have like a 1 in 32 chance of winning.
Yeah, I feel like most of these girls actually go that route. Like she's really cool. When all is said and done, no matter what happens, like I've got her number. Like we're texting. We're gonna stay in touch, right? Like
you see that
she's
a lot
not playing any
with past contestants. Like they're all hanging out watching the shows together.
Well, like the Bachelor alumni network has got to be huge because of that too.
Just think of the networking you could do in that.
Yeah, exactly.
So who's got a relation with Tommy John underwear? I do. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like I'd like to model their underwear or do a spot. They're all there for that. I mean, there used to be an era when Instagram influencer wasn't a thing, and people would go to the shows and go back to their normal lives. But
yes, so the series
even like Matt James, like if this doesn't work out, like his sales commercial real estate job would probably be pretty substantial as well. So
yeah, well, not only that, but he'll do modeling on the side on weekends and probably match his commercial real estate business.
No joke. I mean, did you see him with his shirt off? Did you catch that? So
I paused it, Matt.
We had 3 minutes and 30 seconds of shirtless Matt this episode. Yes, I timed it.
I just wish I get 3 minutes and 30 seconds of shirtless Matt with you during our podcast, but
yeah,
dreamers can dream. But
well, hold on a second, baby. When the lights go out. Okay.
So let's go over this first. Let's go over this first one-on-one. Bree gets the first one-on-one.
And then they ATV, and she has issues with the clutch to start out.
Yeah. But I love. She goes. I wore my worst outfit today, which comes to beg the question: why do you bring a quote-unquote worst outfit?
Well, apparently you're going to get dirty this season. I don't care who you are. You're going to get dirty of one way or the other. They go ATVing, and she was behind him. And if you looked before he flipped her, he was like spotless, and she had all of his tire like
tread fling
all over her. She was just like speckled, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's like pristine, which I laughed at. And then he flips her, and then they land in a cuddling position.
Yes, I thought that was interesting too.
So
I thought it was a little bit charming, but
no, they stopped it when they flipped it, and they said cuddle her, and then they ran back with their cameras, and they ran up again like they were concerned.
Once they were recording, yeah.
Wasn't that weird though? They were in a cuddling position, like he was facing her, and their legs were intertwined.
Yeah,
and they made it seem like they just ran up from the flip.
They fell off that way. So he had to have 180'd in that whole span of the flip. So
it was impressive. And then he cut wood, and you taught me how to cut wood. Is that how you do it? Because don't you just stick the blade into the wood and then you swing the blade with the wood? I mean, you don't just try and like karate chop through the whole thing, do you? I was wondering when I was watching. I knew I was going to talk to you.
Well, and it's funny because my wife would be dying right now because I was like, what is he doing? So I just love that you brought this up. She'd be dying right now if she's listening to this. But there are a couple things wrong with this whole scenario. One, he chopped one piece of wood.
And he took his shirt off.
He took his shirt off to do it.
It's dangerous.
Yes. Also, I don't know if you saw that handle on that axe. That was a very short axe.
It's like a hatchet.
It's more of a hatchet. Yeah. So
you would need to sink the blade into the wood first with a hatchet rather than do a full.
Which something tells me it was prepped. Something tells me the wood piece was prepped. But even if he did have the strength to swing down once and hit it, again, like you said, it's a short handle. The odds and the way he was standing, if he had missed that thing entirely, that axe would have gone right into his thigh, and then you'd have a whole other slew of problems for the production crew.
What a plot twist that would be,
right? So take his shirt off. Extremely dangerous. No protective eye goggles. No gloves. Very dangerous. Yes, this is not approved by any wood choppers association. Okay, so no eye protection, no gloves, shirtless. He's exposed. Poor stance. Too short of a handle, too small of an axe to cut a piece of wood.
And then he went over his shoulder and swung down on a piece of wood that was just standing on its own. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many things wrong with this.
Yes.
And
for those that don't know, when you're chopping a bunch of wood for a camping trip or something, or if you're going to wood fire your spa for the next couple hours, you, like Matt said, you drive the head of the axe, or the blade of the axe, into the wood a little bit, kind of tap it in further by lifting the axe up and down, and then you take one big swing down on it and it will split it. That's the safe way to do it without trying to go full like tomahawk chop on it like Matt did. But it's I was fuming, and I was like, my OCD was just going, my radar was going off so hard.
Well, it's funny because I was literally thinking the same thing. I was watching, I'm like, oh, this is not how Alex taught me. And no gloves, no. So it was pretty funny that you picked up on that too.
The new dad in me went off and was like, "This is so irresponsible. I will never teach my son to chop wood this way."
Those instincts kick in, and all of a sudden.
Well, there's so many things that could have gone wrong. So many things could have gone wrong.
Then apparently everyone on the show had a mother that raised them by themselves with an absent father. They instantly bond. And then she gets the rose, and then fireworks go off, and the firework budget was larger than Tasha's season.
I got to say one thing though, and I don't know if you caught this because my wife caught it and she asked the question. And then when I saw it again, I'm like, oh yeah, that is weird. Brie wears her sweater across her chest, like in a seatbelt type of like angle. Did you see that?
Rather than around her waist or something?
Yeah, rather than like around her waist, she like had the arms wrapped around her body in a way that it was like it resembled like a seatbelt type of like angle, like 45-degree angle across her body, and it was tied in between. The arms are tied together like around her chest, and I was kind of like, is that? I don't know, girls, please like write to us if that's fashion. Cool, well, but like just let us know because I was very confused on that.
I'm confused about fashion because our boy Franco came back and he took his dye from his pink shoes and apparently dyed his entire suit with the same dye. I mean, he looked like he was purple nurple out there. And I don't know. There's two things I have issues with this date. First off, it was not raining on Matt. And all those girls had umbrellas and they were standing in the rain. And Matt was standing up with Franco and neither of them had umbrellas. And neither of them were getting rained on, but the girls were just literally getting poured on. So I wonder if they were literally standing in the rain and they had a cover over Matt the entire time. Secondly, or what?
I was like, or here's what could have happened. They waited out the rain. So when they're filming all the girls walking up, they're all in torrential downpour. And then by the time it cleared up, go, okay, let's actually start filming this. They might have waited like an hour or so to wait out the rain.
Well, interesting. I like the whole they just take care of Matt angle better.
There's a giant screen that's covering him.
The second thing that bothered me was that Franco can't take a damn picture that's in focus. Like, yes, every single picture they showed of Franco's was just a blurry mess.
Yeah,
and I think that's just his style, I guess.
It totally matched his style when he was walking in the woods during the paint war. So, because it's the exact same slurry of colors blurred together because he's not focusing the camera at all.
I don't know. And literally, how many animals had to die to make Franco's coat? I mean,
see that fur coat, or it wasn't fur; it was feathers. It was somehow, I don't know, it was quail or dove or what. It might have been a pheasant.
If it was quail, that's like 1,200 quail.
Yes, a lot of birds died for his fashion statement.
And I thought to myself, I was sitting there thinking to myself, I wonder if he's a vegan, because or a vegetarian, or like someone like it's involved in PETA yet wears this ridiculous feather jacket.
He's an ovo-vegetarian, meaning he eats eggs and he only eats quail eggs. Just to match his,
I feel like if he would have just fell off a cliff, he would have just kept gliding to safety. Like, I mean, he had so many feathers.
He would have taken flight.
Yeah, he would have just flown to safety. So then they go down. Well, I mean, Victoria interrupts someone's picture, and this is where I feel like it's so producery, because it's kind of like, like it's not that hard to wait in line.
Yeah, she walks in between the line of sight between
royal wedding, like royal wedding. Did you forget about the royal wedding? And then Matt's face was just like, oh gosh, just take the damn picture.
Yeah.
I don't like her. I don't believe her. She's very much a valley girl, which drives me nuts. She's so fake, man. I hate it.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily like, I mean, yes, it's fake, but I think it's largely predicated on a mountain of insecurity. Because did you see her reactions to when she didn't get she didn't get the rose from that date, and she didn't get validated by him? I mean, you want to see somebody who looked very not comfortable? She was. I think she has some major insecurity issues, and when any part of that gets confirmed in any way, shape, or form, it's no bueno. I think she's got some major insecurity issues that cause her to be this put forth this Queen Victoria persona, and I think it's going to crumble. I think it's going to crack if she stays around. I was hoping she got voted off this time around, but
we have to wait
we
to
see
find
Matt
out because
validate
Sarah's
her
dumbass
boldness.
passed out. Yeah. I mean, it's all, if she stays, it's completely producer deal. I mean, she like, when she kisses him, she damn near tries to like catch both earlobes with her upper and lower jaw when she's like trying to kiss him. She's trying, and I go at him like that. And for something I noted was Jacinia is getting a lot of airtime too. So I think she may go farther than people think. But I sent you that picture of her today, and she's wearing Jack Purcell Converse shoes with 2 levels of soles on them. She has a 1-inch lift on her Converse. I've never seen anything like it before. We'll post it on our Instagram.
It was so steep. It reminded me of when those people have like one leg shorter than the other, and they have one shoe that's like medically like built to help them stay at the same height and not mess with their hips. It like legit looked like that.
And if she has that, Alex apologizes.
Well, she does. At least it's there's a reason why that's the case. But if it's not, and here's the thing, I've seen a lot of girls just walking around town that are wearing these shoes with these thick soles again. Like the whole platform thing is back in. It just doesn't look like the old platform from the 90s anymore. It's like this new style.
It's like Doc Martens or Rocket Dogs or anything like that.
Exactly.
She was pretty funny though, because she said at one point, she's like, infidelity. She's like, I'm so scared about infidelity. And Matt's like, infidelity is not something I'll put you through. Excuse me while I go kiss these other girls.
Now, if you don't mind, they got 14 other girls I'm kissing tonight.
Yeah, it's like, I get what he's saying, but it's like, wait until you commit to her before you tell her you won't be no infidelity between you.
Yeah.
Then they played this stupid ass capture the heart thing. They didn't explain the rules. The only rule is that there was no rules, but I'm assuming if you get hit with the paint, you have to go back and reset.
I have no idea, because all I see is that they were cracking jokes that the referee was just sitting on a cigarette break, basically, not enforcing anything.
I think it was the cold bath expert, to be honest with you. I think it was Big Polly just sitting there thinking about.
He reprises his role of useless plug.
Correct, yeah. So he's just sitting there not doing anything. I loved how MJ went for the win. I thought that was cool. She was just like, everyone was distracted. Yeah, I don't know why she didn't get MVP.
Yeah, I don't understand that. But yeah, and like you said, I don't understand what the whole premise of it was. It was kind of a capture of the flag, but they were just like attacking each other. I think that's when she was like, I can run directly across and just grab the damn thing. I think that's what she did.
And then they had so what's the generation after millennial?
Why?
Are these people millennial?
No, not Gen Y. The Gen
Zs? Gen Z.
It might be Gen Z, yeah.
Are these girls, when does millennial end? What age?
Regardless. 92, I want to say.
I think it's 94.
Is it 94? Okay. I wanted to say 92, but.
So 25-year-olds and even under. So most of these girls are Gen Zers. There was the most Gen Z statement ever made is this girl on the losing team said, "We deserve to win the game." Like, no, bitch, you have to win. You have to bring the heart to your heart to win.
You lost.
You lost. You don't deserve shit. Don't tell me like you're really upset because you deserve to win and you played harder. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
How many points are on the scoreboard and or who did what was necessary to win? I just like, oh my gosh. I deserved his heart. Yeah, but he didn't pick you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna come back? Apparently, I can't wait for people to come back.
Yeah, I'm waiting for these girls to show up. They tease that they're going to bring some new girls and it just kind of pop up as contestants. I think the last season they must have had a lot of chatter across the Twitter sphere or something that this season they're like, you know what, we're going to do the same damn thing from that season and create extra drama.
And so we'll see. I mean, I don't like that new formula. I don't like new people showing up. I like give me especially because I'm coming from the fantasy league commissioner standpoint, where it's like, what do I do if a new player comes in? How can people pick her up if she? I don't like that. That's Nick Viall that's part of that. So, thanks, Nick.
Yeah, Makes the
Then
worst
Victoria sat down with Matt after the group date win. During the group date after the win, she's like, I had security insecurities too. I have insecurities. Like I thought I looked fat the first night, and then he's like, "Oh, you didn't look fat." Okay. Oh my gosh, I totally opened up to him. I'm like, oh, Queen Victoria.
Yeah. I don't.
I do have to say, I did like how she asked him for a kiss, though. I thought I was
She
like,
asked for permission. Yeah.
I know. Well, he was walking away. She said, "Can I have a kiss?" I'm like, okay, that's bold.
Yeah.
Like that's a good move.
Mm-hmm.
Then Lauren gets the group date rose for God knows why, because she said that something about religion. I forget what she said about religion.
Well, that's his girl from North Carolina, right?
No, that's Kaylee.
Oh, that's Kaylee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought she was the one from North Carolina. Okay, well, they're talking about religious backgrounds. They were talking about. I want to say she probably just had one of the more real conversations with him that night. Other than I have insecurities too. I thought I was fat the first night.
I looked fat.
Fishing for compliments, So, but I want to get into the Sarah and Matt one-on-one. So the one that happened afterwards.
We're
I don't know
transitioning.
unless you want to go cover something from the group. The group date I felt was kind of a nothing.
I was about to pivot to Lauren gets a group day rose, and then Sarah gets the second one-on-one.
Yeah.
They go on a plane. I want to point out that the plane pilot was not wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Very disappointed about that. Think of all the people he could have crop dusted down there. Then they talk about emergency contacts, and I said that was a real thing. Will the person that you put down as an emergency contact save your life or amputate your leg for no reason? Something that you need to consider when you're putting down your emergency contacts.
Which is exactly why Matt didn't put me down as his emergency contact. I'm like, what limb do we have to lose, Doc? Nothing. It's just a cold. No, just give it to me straight. Are we cutting off the right hand or the left hand? What are we doing?
Oh my gosh, a complete castration. I understand, doctor.
No, he's just got a really bad flu.
No, I'm saying he's suffering frustration. Oh, castration. I'm in. I sign off on it.
I'll give him the news. I'll give it to him. I'll let him down easy.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Doc. I got you.
But Sarah wouldn't share the information about her family, and it was super awkward. And then they go to dinner, and I really think they're pumping questions to him beforehand or during the dinner just to know the certain pressure point questions to force her to work out, because they know her backstory.
Which do you think that Matt's got a little earpiece in on the side that we can't see his ear?
I do think so.
And they go, ask her about her dad again.
Yeah. Ask her if her favorite player is Lou Gehrig.
Oh no.
although when she said he has Lou Gehrig's disease, which is made famous by, and then she said Stephen Hawking, and I'm like, well, why don't we just go with Lou Gehrig? I mean, like,
the famous baseball player, the famous New York Yankee that got it, yeah.
Who's
named after it.
So I was just like
made famous. Well, also it's like, since when did diseases become made famous by?
I don't know.
Are they song covers? Like, oh, this song was not a very popular song until it was made famous by this artist. Like,
but literally, it's like, this is the Babe Ruth MVP award made famous by Barry Bonds. It's like everyone knows who Babe Ruth is.
Yeah. I did not pick up on that when we watched that. I'm so glad you brought that up because I'm dying right now. That's hilarious.
I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick because ALS is a real thing, and we all did the ice bucket challenge. I donated over a couple $100 towards that.
To be fair, she did know
suffering from ALS, and there's a great movie about him.
Oh, really?
You talk, I'll tell you about it.
No, I was just saying, I'll give her credit for this. She actually explained it to him in case he wasn't aware of what it was. She says ALS, or otherwise known as Lou Gehrig's disease. So, she knows her stuff. And honestly, I want to give her credit for dropping everything to take care of her dad. I don't know if mom's in the picture or what. Maybe mom's done a great job, and that's allowing for a lot of the medical visits and doctor visits, and allowing her to put her career on halt, really. But I mean, I think it's admirable because think about it. She, at her age, she's missing important time to build her career, whatever she was pursuing.
She's a reporter.
Well, she's a reporter. That's right. So, I mean, I that's a lot. I don't know if I could do that.
If you guys want to see a amazing documentary on ALS, watch Gleason. That's Gleason. It's on Amazon Prime Video right now. 96% of Rotten Tomatoes. It's about the Saints player that got ALS, and he when he got diagnosed, he started videotaping his life. It's one of the most moving movies I've seen. So, I donated to the Steve Gleason Project because of that. And I didn't notice it during the show, but
are you talking about what we saw via the Instagram and Twitter sphere?
Yeah, you sent it to me. I gave you proper credit that time. Literally, I'll send Alex something on Instagram, and he'll send me the same thing 20 minutes later and say, "Have you seen this?" I'm like, "I literally just sent it to you." So Alex sent this one to me. I'll give him credit where credit's due.
I've become guilty.
He went in. Matt and her start kissing, and then he pulls back, and his nose is just
covered in foundation.
Covered in blanched white foundation, and it's really funny. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and watch that because that happens sometimes when you kiss girls that are wearing a lot of makeup. Is that sometimes it comes off?
The best part is though, like with those girls, like since he's dark skin, since he's mulatto, that's always going to show up on him. It's not like a white guy kissing a white girl coming back and you can't notice it because they're both white.
Yeah.
That's going to be very interesting to see how many times that actually happens on the series.
It does happen. I've been on a date once wearing a white shirt, and then this was like
became a tan shirt.
It became a tan shirt.
Yeah. Can I just say one of my favorite quotes of the whole episode was when Matt goes, "Have you ever been in a biplane before?" And she says, "Not one this small." And I'm like, "Sweetheart, he said biplane."
And then she said, "Is this the first plane ever made?" I thought that was funny.
Yes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Sarah. I think she's fantastic. And she's got so far the best quotes right now coming out of any of the girls. So I'm a big Sarah fan. She's hilarious.
She did. So then she got the rose. Then they have a group or the cocktail party. Abby says that she's going to grab her ear to blow kisses. It was cute, I guess.
Well, I think it's smart. I think it's smart because she's differentiating herself again. And she can, and think about this too. What all of these girls struggle with is validation.
Mm-hmm.
And until the moment that they receive that rose, they're emotional wrecks because they don't know if they're being validated. So she's now got a trigger that she can pull to get that immediate gratification. Think about that.
I would abuse that if I were her. I would just be grabbing my ear the entire time. Like he walks by with another girl, be pulling on his ear and look at him all angrily, to do it back. There's a person that would need it. Mary Lynn would need to do that because she was a huge red flag, super weepy, super needy. Mm-hmm. So Matt apparently grabbed an orchid from the hallway of the hotel and said, "Here you go." And she was all
And
then Victoria got in a fight with her. Got mad at her all for what? No reason.
And that's why I'm saying she's super insecure because she sees that he drops a flower off for her and they show her face and she's just mortified. And then that's when she decides to stir up drama and be like, "She said bad things about me." And it's what?
Victoria tried the "I'm not here to make friends" approach. Then she went to the snitching approach. I don't know what her game plan was.
And early in the episode when she's talking trash on all the other girls and trying to seem out tough, who's she talking to? One of the producers in front of all the other girls. I'm like you said, is this a production? Are they just are they paying her per irritation? What? I don't understand this.
The whole thing's a walking oxymoron. She's like, "I don't care how we get along. I hate y'all. I'm here for him." And then she's like, "Everyone's so mean to me." It's why would they be nice to you?
Yeah. She's giving them no reason to.
But she goes full court press on Marilyn and how toxic Marilyn is. And I thought Marilyn trying to approach her and have a conversation and sit next to her was a very Very mature. I know I gave her red flag issues. I wrote down red flags earlier. That I said she's very well spoken and tried to have an empathetic conversation, saying like, "I'm sorry that you feel that." And for like people like Victoria, it's kind of like, "Fuck you!" Like, don't try and be like, don't try and get on their level because they're just trying to. What does Abraham Lincoln say? Never argue with a fool because they'll drag you down to their level and beat you with experience.
Yeah.
Like don't do that. I mean, and I know she was trying to do empathetic speech and she was doing a chapter from Fierce Conversations, but that wasn't necessary.
Well, it's like in that same spirit, I was thinking about the quote, like, don't go wrestling with a pig in the mud. The only, you guys both get dirty and the only difference is the pig likes it. It's like, that's exactly what, like, don't get down to Victoria's level because she, like, that's sport for her. Right. And it's like, just don't play her game, stay above it.
And then Victoria's like, she needs to go because I hate her. And it's like,
yes.
Well,
and I kind of shot back for a second too, because I'm thinking, that's a strong word to say. Like, you hate them? Like, you don't know them.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to be like, all right, I'm not their biggest, they're not my biggest fan, right? And I'm not their biggest fan, but like, I don't know. I just feel like hate's a strong word these days.
Yeah.
And that kind of was like, wow, okay, Victoria. Okay. She's not a very admirable character this season. We'll say that much.
And then Sarah apparently didn't drink enough water, or she was standing lock-kneed.
I was lock-kneed. Yeah.
If you've never been in a wedding before, just bend your knees when you're up there if you're in the wedding party. Otherwise, you'll pass out like she did.
But they're standing there for a while.
Yeah. So that's the episode. This is Romancing Our Stones, and after every episode, we give each episode a stones rating. Out of 4 stones, we each have 2 stones to give.
Naturally.
0 stones means an act of castration is preferable to watching this episode. 2 stones means, you know what, I liked it. Alex, where are you at?
I thought it was an entertaining episode, and I think we saw some insights into some of the girls and some of the front runners, and I think girls that'll go long in this competition. I'm going to give it 2 stones.
Okay.
On my meaty scale, I'm going to give this a beef Wellington. So, because it's a delicious meal, very meaty, little bread wrapped around it. It's delicious. Don't worry. You should try it sometime.
I tried beef Wellington. This is the 3rd time you've used beef Wellington on your meaty scale.
No, it's not. I've used beef Wellington once, and it's tonight.
Check the record.
Okay. Guarantee I've never used beef Wellington.
I'm guaranteeing.
We'll check the tape.
I guarantee you this is the 3rd time. It's a great way to summarize the episode. I personally will give it 1 stone. And the reason why I'm giving it 1 stone is that I feel it's super fabricated. And I know this show is, so don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I was very not interested in Bree. The group date provided 0 value to me. Victoria's over the top. Sarah, I mean, I like Sarah, but she's not super compelling. She doesn't have a lot of depth from what I saw. And I just thought like the girls that were highlighted through these episodes didn't really make me interested. So like,
kind of root for them. Yeah.
I was looking forward to just conversations between him and one girl because I'm like, oh cool, I can zone out. Like, because I don't have to take notes on this because they're going to talk about, I love my family. I love my family. I love life. I love life. So it's like, I was kind of like, and then like even all the drama at the end with like Victoria and Marilyn and passing out wasn't even a good cliffhanger.
No.
The poor girl wasn't bending her knees.
Yeah.
So I'll give it 1 stone because there was some aspects of it that made me laugh. And, Franco's always enjoyable.
I like the level of conversation that Matt was having because it's a bit deeper than we've heard from Bachelors in the past. And maybe just my bar has become so low that maybe that's why I gave this 2 stones. But one of the things I thought that was pretty juicy and possible insight before, Matt asked Sarah specifically, what he needs to do to be the man that she needs him to be. And I'm like,
he's a great dude. I mean,
he is a great dude.
I like him a lot.
Yeah. And I just think that like that's translating into, in my opinion, better one-on-one conversations. Like, and I thought their conversation in the hot tub with him and Bree was actually pretty deep too. And I feel like not deep, I should say that, but just actually had some content, right? They actually talked
it
about some
did.
stuff.
I mean, I'm not saying that it wasn't deep. I'm just saying that, you know, like for me personally, I was kind of like,
Yeah.
Then maybe it's because The Bachelorette was too close to this one. I mean, it's really like
Maybe you're just
maybe I got Bachelor fatigue. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
But I think he's great, and I think there are good girls in there. It's just I feel like the girls that went on these dates weren't very compelling because they focus way too much on Victoria. I think Sarah is very one-dimensional, and I think that Bree's story is so similar to his. It's kind of like, again, I thought that was like producer led as well.
Yeah.
You know, like that's all.
And that might be a lot of it too. Because I can understand what you're saying about the Bachelor fatigue, because it does come down to the whole like, okay, well, we know they're keeping Victoria around. You know, they're poking and prodding her into the action. You know, like
yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, and there are elements where like, yeah, okay, here's the production value coming in. Okay, like we got it. Like so, but yeah, I'm so far I'm still it's still very refreshing to see Matt. He's way different.
Matt's refreshing, and his abs are so well chiseled.
Yes.
So, I mean, what? Anyway, 3 stones, and it's a beef Wellington of an episode.
First time ever.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at RO Stones Guys, on Twitter at RO Stones Guys, on YouTube at RO Stones Guys, on Facebook. Just kidding, we don't have one. Don't forget to match or partner up, or I don't know what they call it on Peloton, with Alex at Mets23. Think you can ride harder than him? Think you can sweat more than him? Is your ride going to be a beef Wellington, or is it going to be a nice Italian sandwich or Spam? You have to ride to find out.
Sure.
If you want to be on the show, let us know. Slide into our DMs. We'd love to have guest. As you heard last episode, I forked over the Zoom money, so we have that ability for a while, and we'd love to have you. So thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. You can say bye.
Bye.